Here are a couple of ways of making a card jump out of a deck, which is quite fun, especially if it's a borrowed deck. So let's have a go at that. This is a very simple effect, which is basically going to move the top card dynamically out of the deck, spiraling and returning. So that's a boomerang, in fact. There's another technique as well I'll show you in a second, which happens slightly differently. Also comes from the top of the deck. Actually, it'll happen different ways each time you try this. It can actually move across quite smoothly. Those are cards coming from the side of the deck. You can also make the card jump out of the front of the deck, the top of it, as I've just done now. Occasionally, you'll get to catch it, like so. Let me just show you the techniques I'm using here. The first one is coming out from the side of the deck, so that if you hold the deck face down, your thumb on the left, the forefinger on the front, the short side, and 3 fingers along the long side on the right. I'm going to push the top card to the right with my thumb. It goes out like this, the cards. And as I've dragged it over, the momentum and the release settling from the hand will actually spring it that way. It works as one movement. You can't really slow it down, as with all these techniques. So the card's being dragged down, and you're instantly throwing it out. So this finger is basically, the middle finger is basically dragging a card over. The spin occurs because as it leaves your hand, this card is going to rotate in this way, I think. And the travel happens because there's movement going that way. Okay? So basically, you're doing this. That's the first technique I wanted to show you of getting a card to leave the deck and come back from the deck. The other technique was from the top of the deck. You can choose your own favorite. I hold the cards like this now. I'm holding them by the top and the bottom corners on my right with my middle and my thumb. And I'm going to take the forefinger here and drag that card down, and then suddenly release it so it shoots out this way. Look what happens from your point of view. Okay? So you've got to do this quite suddenly down and up. Just to send a card out. Okay? And the other technique as well for just sending a card out for whatever reason. Okay. Now you can actually get a lot of direction and momentum on this, but I prefer to use this simply for a boomerang. So which is why I'm not actually used to practicing for this thing to have distance. Notice how difficult it is to get them right. So this is not a surefire way of doing a card to go out or come back. But that's just to get you started along on the whole notion of getting cards to behave a little bit like people, with a bit of momentum, animation, and the unexpected qualities that people have.